Hi everyone. So I decided to do my project, my technology project on Kami. And Kami, I use Kami every day in my class, and honestly, I would probably be lost teaching online my first year if I didn't have it. So exactly what Kami is that it's an app or an extension that you can use on Google that allows annotations and a place for collaboration on a PDF. So it's a very flexible way to teach, assess, and provide feedback, like also with collaboration as well. And Kami is really set, as you can see here on the main screen, is to empower our students and just transform the way our classroom is working, especially in the day and age when technology is becoming such a big part due to COVID and due to distance learning and remote learning or whatever. Half your kids in school, half your kids out of school. So Kami's been a super big help. As you can see here, 200 or 24 million educators and students are engaging on Kami every day from anywhere, which is a really cool thing. Anywhere that you have internet, Kami will work. Like I said, it just needs to be on a Google Chrome extension or on your phone or iPad or whatever tablet you may be using. So here we see that your Kami is an all-in-one digital class hero. My biggest thing with Kami is that it connects directly to your Google Classroom. So, like I said before, living in a world where we're, heading towards using more technology in the classroom, Google Classroom is something that we use every day. And by Kami connecting to Google Classroom and working one-on-one with Google Classroom, it's really made it so much easier. I'm going to show you how kids can, once we get to the next part on how Kami works, I will show you how easy it is for kids to download and submit, whatever that may be. Okay. Like I said, seamless integrations with Google Classroom, which was such a big thing. I'm going to touch more on this this later for the interactive learning. I want to show you more in the video, so I don't want to go ahead right now. And here's just little reviews. So what I want to show you is how you can sign up. So here you could sign up for free. Give me 1 second. I already have a teacher account, so obviously you're going to see me in here, but it's super easy to sign up. The teacher account is $99 a year. Our school district bought Kami, but it's super cheap. It's nothing crazy. If you want to buy it on your own, it is $99 for the year on the educator one. But for just students to use Kami, they can just download that extension directly to their computer, and all that looks like is the following. So you would just type in Kami extension on your Google Chrome. You're going to click this first link. My kids did this very easily. It would say add to Chrome. Obviously I have Kami, so for me it says remove to Chrome, but if you were to download this, it would say add to Chrome and you would be all set. Okay. So how this works, I am going to pull up my classroom. So this is an assignment that I have in my Google Classroom, and what students will see is I'm on Google Classroom. They can just click here, the PDF, and what they would do is they would press open with Kami, and it would pop directly up to the Kami editor. So this is where I'm going to walk through walk through with you guys and tell you all the cool different features that Kami offers. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is the markup, which my kids, drawing and the markup, which my kids use all the time. So what kids can do, my students at West Haven High School have tablets, so they can actually write with their finger. I bought them all styluses, so they can write with their finger and do that pretty quickly. And on Kami, what you can do is just edit. Obviously, it's very hard with a trackpad, but on math, I'm sorry, all my work is math. I'm a math teacher. They can say one. Obviously, you can see if you don't have a stylus or a touchscreen, this could be very hard to do. So that's there. We also have the eraser option. So just like I would just erase on a piece of paper, I can just erase online. Also, if kids are doing more of, we're just doing simple math, we do have the text box. So if I wanted to say that 2 + 2 = 4, they can also just type it in there and change their color, change their font if they need. Another really cool thing with Kami is the equation box. So for math people, there's all different symbols they have here. So we have pi, we have log. You can actually write direct equations into here. So if I wanted to write f of x, this is a math equation. I'm not going to go too crazy into that, but they do have that option. So it allows for that to be done as well. Also, we have shapes if you need a shape. If you're in an art class, I know a couple art teachers use this option to make their students at home, create online art projects. Now, my biggest thing is all about the feedback and the communication. So this comment aspect here. So kids do work. Obviously, you see my name. I'm the teacher on here. If they get it wrong, this feedback piece is the best part about Kami. So what I can do is I can type, hey, when you added 2 plus 2, you said it equals 5. Let's relook at that, right? Or what we can do is do something else where you could, like, a positive thing. Hey, we can comment again. Hey, great work. But my favorite piece of Kami is you can actually, when you're making a comment, so say you're on a test, you're making a comment, you can use the voice typing, right? I can't obviously use that with you guys because I'm on the computer, but you can leave comments with your voice, which just they can listen to you because sometimes it's a little easier rather than seeing those little things, especially with math. It's easier to explain rather than trying to type on a computer. So that's a really cool option. This is going to kind of lead me, I'm going to skip a little bit and lead me into meeting the needs of different learners, right? Because say we have here, I'm going to go to my test. So I have a text to speech. So I want the kids to understand this problem. So what that does is that allows the computer to actually speak to the student. So if someone who has a hard time with reading comprehension in math or in any subject, or if someone has a hard time visually seeing something, that option, that text to speech option, allows for those differentiated learners to be able to use them. Now, being a special ed background, this is huge to me. I do teach in a lower level math class where most of my students do have IEPs or 504s. So we use this all the time, especially for those students that have a hard time seeing, any visual problems, whatever it may be. We also this also allows for different students to express themselves in a kinesthetic way. Maybe those kids that are not that can't verbalize things. This allows both in a visual way and a kinesthetic way. Kinesthetic meaning using the pen, writing it on the writing on the computer, on our touchscreens, whatever that may be, which I think it's really cool. Then we have accommodations, which I also think is a cool thing. We have a highlighter here. So if I'm trying to make an accommodation to a test, or if I'm trying to make a modification, so say here, I really want the kids to make sure that they're using the zero product property, I can highlight that. So that's telling those kids I'm modifying the assignment to make sure they know that they are using the zero product property. So that's also really cool. And how I use this in a class. So that's another topic of this project. And I think I use it every day in my class. I use it for notes for my students at home. I use it for homework. So here would be something that I would use for homework where kids would just write immediately on there. And like I said, for math, this is huge because typing math is not easy. So for my kids that have those touchscreen computers or iPads or whatever it may be, they can write directly on it with their stylus that just makes it like pen and paper. So this is something like homework. And then I have notes. So here, this is, I am displaying the notes while my kids are live streaming and they can type in the definition. So this was the definition of a polynomial. So they could say a polynomial is, and then they can write the definition, right? So that's a really cool thing. So I use it with homework notes. And then here you can see this is a quiz. So I assessed right directly on here. And I can use this for my kids in school and out of school. And there won't be too much difference between those are in school and out of school, right? Because it's the same thing as it would be writing on a piece of paper. And also you could see I give my test right on here. And same thing, when I am done, I can leave comments. I can tell them what they did wrong. I will have one-on-one Zoom sessions with them, and we use Kami to go through everything, right? So say the student completes their test. Right here, I don't have it because I'm the teacher. It would say turn in. And all they have to do is click turn in, and it will fall directly into Google Classroom, and it will fall right into my turned in. I'm not going to click on that because those are my students' name. But it's that simple. All they need to do is click turn in, and it's done and sent to me. So that's a really cool thing. Another cool thing about this for assessing, like I said, it's the same as a paper test, especially for math that could be, somewhat difficult. So we talk about that. And also, it is really good for catching, students who may be cheating. At the bottom here, on theirs, it will give their initials. So see my little JM in the corner at the bottom, it'll be my little JM because I'm the teacher. And then say if a student's initials are DF, they would go there. Now, if somebody else comes onto their assignment, it shows their initials as well. So I did have a situation where I did catch a student cheating because they had two more initials, little initial circles. So I knew they were all working on it together. So I think that's a really cool part about Kami too, is because we are online and students are at home, it becomes a little difficult to catch cheating. But Kami allows you to do that, which is really cool. So just talking about pros, like I said, it allows us to complete different aspects of work in different ways. So we can do group projects on here where I could have 4 students all on one Kami document working together, and I can see exactly who, if I scan over where they worked, it'll tell me exactly who did what. Maybe I could see who didn't do anything, things like that. And it just gives students to work, those at home or those maybe not in school at the time, whatever it may be, to work on this document all at once. Right? Another pro is that I can see everything. It's live feed, right? So if the kid was working on this document and they're typing in, hey, Miss Morel, or, 4 plus 4 equals 8, I can see what they're doing directly. So this also allows for me to give an effective and efficient feedback. So as kids are, taking their test during class, I am looking at their test as they go along to give them feedback without a big distraction, right? I could just leave a comment and say, hey, make sure you look at number 4 again. Something's wrong. Our algebra is wrong. So that's also a huge pro. And like I just said, we can comment in different media, so we can accommodate those who may have differential learning styles, which is really cool. One thing that I am not a huge fan of about Kami is that it's very hard to grade on Kami. It takes a very long time. And when you're grading math, it could be very difficult. Another con is that you need internet to get onto Kami. I live in a very low-income school where some of my kids do not have internet at home. So when they're home, it's not easy for them. And lastly, if you saw it before, if you don't have a touchscreen device, it is very hard to write on this. Right? And living in a low-income school, we're lucky that our tablets that were given out this year are touchscreen, but if they're not, as you can see, it's a very hard time to write on there. And it's not also the easiest to use math with a text box. So that would definitely be a con there. So going on to I'm just going to share my PowerPoint. So looking at my standards, for educator standards, I see Designer 5, which is using technology to create, adapt, and personalize learning experiences. So here, that foster independent learning and accommodate learner differences. As I said, we have so many different ways of showing work through Kami, whether it's visual, kinesthetic, auditory, whatever it may be. Kami also explores and applies instructional design principles to create initiative digital learning environments that engage and support learning. We could also be a facilitator, so we manage the use of technology and student strategies. So as I said before, while kids are doing things, I can also, comment and just kind of manage as they're going along. And then lastly, I can provide alternate ways for students to demonstrate, which, like I said before, there's so many different ways: auditory, visual, kinesthetically, whatever that may be. Okay, and then I talked about the ISTE student standards. So here are the standards that we talk about. Students using technology to seek feedback that informs both student to student feedback, also teacher to student feedback. We also have allow students can publish or present content that customizes the message that informs for your audience. So if a student needs to do something over a video, Kami also allows a video. We also have Global Collaborator and Global Collaborator 7A and 7C, just because it allows students different ways to communicate with really anybody all over the world if they have Kami. And then talking about alternate Native Tech, if you can't afford Kami, there are different things like Adobe PDF Editor, Lumi PDF Editor, Explain Everything Whiteboard, which is a free app that you can get on your iPad or any tablet device, and then Explain Everything EDU, which I use. That is money. I think I paid $14 for the year. It just allows you to do those types of things. So I'm just going to go back to my Kami. In return, just in closing remarks, Kami is used all over the world and aids teachers and students of all subjects. So both teachers of core subjects and specials like art or music. Any teacher can use it. Kami also provides students with ample opportunities to empower their own learning by the variety of tools that Kami uses and provides. Students and educators have the availability to complete work in multiple ways, whether it be through auditory visual, or kinesthetic expression, which really aids those differentiated learners. Kami also reaches students of all grade levels. It's really simple. Students from first grade to 12th grade use it, and all different abilities. So there we talk about, again, differentiated learners, their ability to do something. Kami is really good at giving the opportunity for everybody. One of the biggest pros, like I talked about before, is the opportunity for students to collaborate, whether it's teacher-student collaboration or student-student collaboration. Kami offers a platform where feedback is very accessible and not only hard to give, but also very easy to receive, right? Because a student just has to log back on to their Kami assignment. So if, say, we're here and I leave a comment, they can just listen or read, whatever it may be. Kami also allows for educators on a document to see, like I was talking about before, to see live time edits, which allows for a very effective and efficient way to communicate with students. It also kind of minimizes distraction for those kids that are in school. Rather, if they're taking a test on Kami, I could just say, hey, make sure we're looking at number 4, rather than saying something in front of the class. And then lastly, especially in the math field, I would struggle extremely hard, right? It's very hard to reach your students at home, but Kami has not only made it easier for me to teach through notes, but to also assign things and also to assess, right? And finally, to provide my feedback after that assessment is done. So that is my short little thing on Kami. I'm sorry if it went a little long. But if you do not have Kami, I suggest you get it. It's such a great way to reach, to give feedback, to assess, to learn, to teach, in all different ways. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I can definitely give you some help. Thank you.